Welcome to
Amen.
this
Thank you,
wonderful
Lord.
broadcast this evening. This is Let's Talk Real Life with Nada Manning. I'm your co host, Vernon Garrison, and we pray that you're receiving us well today. So, thanks you once again. We got a powerful show on deck. As usual, it is deep into the subject of living single. So, those that are single, those that are married, it's an all inclusive show, so nobody escapes the wrath of Real Talk with Coach Vernon Garrison and the teacher of all teachers, Miss Nada Manning. How are you doing today?
Hello.
Hello.
We are
We are
doing
doing
well,
well,
and
and
hopefully
hopefully
that
that
this
this
echoing will
echoing
go away.
away.
Yeah. Well, you sounding pretty good so far over here.
Okay.
Okay.
All
Yeah.
right.
All right.
Well, here
Well,
we
here we
are,
are,
another
another
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
We're going
We're
to
going to
continue with
continue with
living
living
single.
single.
Right.
And the
The
subtopic
subtopic
has
has
been
been
on
on
woundedness.
woundedness,
And
and
this
this
is
is
not
not
just for the
just for
men,
men;
it's for the
it's for the
women,
women,
both
both
genders.
genders.
Living
Living
single,
single,
wounded.
wounded.
Some good
Good
men
men
get
get
saved
saved
too.
too.
And I
And
say
I
that
say that
because
because
the
the
starting
starting
sentence,
sentence,
all good
all good
women
women
already got
already got
saved.
saved,
And now
and
they
now they
just stay to
say to
themselves.
themselves.
And I
And I
say that
say that
men is
men is
involved in this
involved in this
too
too
because
because
some
some
men
men
get
get
played
played
also.
also.
So I
So I
don't want
don't
to
want
take
to take
sides
sides
that
that
only the
only the
women get
women get
played.
paid.
Some
Some
women
women
know how to
know how
play
to
these
play these
men.
men,
And
and
men,
men,
like
like
women,
women,
are
are
wounded
wounded,
and it
and
leaves
it leaves
scars on
scars
them.
on them.
So we
So we
both,
both,
men
men
and
and
women,
women,
get
get
wounded
wounded
and have
and have
scars that
scars that
mm, most of the
most of the
time don't
time
ever
don't
go
ever
away.
go away.
The
The
scar is
scar
like
is like
having
having
a cut
a cut
or
or
some
some
type
type
of
of
injury to
injury
the
to the
skin.
skin.
It could be a
It could be a
cut, it
cut,
could
it
be a
could be a
bullet
bullet
wound.
wound.
It's
It's
wounded, you're
wounded, you're
hurt.
hurt.
And that
And that
scar
scar
will
will
most
most
likely
likely
remain there
remain
the
there the
rest of your
rest of your
life.
life.
So you're
So you're
wounded.
wounded.
Only we're
Only
not
we're not
talking
talking
about
about
physical
physical
scars
scars
just
just
by
by
themselves. We're
themselves. We're
talking really
talking really
about
about
emotional
emotional
scars,
scars,
mental
mental
scars.
scars.
Are there
Are there
really
really
psychological
psychological
scars?
scars?
Well, I would
I
say
would say
so,
so.
meaning that
Meaning that
we're
we're
not
not
always going to
always
go
going to go
crazy
crazy
because
because
something didn't
something
go
didn't
our
go
way.
our way.
Right. Right.
But
But
we have a
have a
tendency
tendency
to
to
have a
have a
mind that
mind that
takes
takes
us
us
way
way
off
off
somewhere
somewhere
because of
because
what
of
has
what has
happened.
happened.
And it can
And it can
happen to the
happen
Mm-hmm.
to
man
the
and the
man and the
woman.
woman.
That's right. It sure can.
And
And
because of
because
that
of that
woundedness,
woundedness,
it
it
affects the
affects the
rest of
rest
their
of their
lives for the
lives for the
most
most
part.
part.
So I
So I
want
want
to
to
um,
um,
talk about
talk
a
about a
couple of
couple of
comments.
comments.
Uh,
Uh,
Starting out
Starting
with the
out with the
women,
women,
like I
like I
say,
say,
don't
don't
lose
lose
sight that
sight
I'm
that I'm
talking
talking
about both
about both
the
the
genders.
genders.
Right. Right.
As
As
far as
far as
women
women
go,
go,
when they're
when they're
wounded,
wounded,
um,
um,
they
they
stay to
stay to
themselves a
themselves a
lot.
lot.
Does that
Does that
mean
mean
that
that
they
they
are
are
antisocial
antisocial
or
or
don't want to
don't
be
want to be
bothered?
bothered?
They're
They're
hurting.
hurting.
All they
All
do
they
is
do
go
is
to
go to
work, hit
work,
the
hit the
gym, and
gym,
run
and run
errands
errands
after
after
they've been
they've been
wounded,
wounded,
depending on
depending
how
on how
deep the
deep the
wound
wound
is.
is.
And they
And
be
they
that
be
way
that
for
way
a
for a
long
long
time
time
because they're
because
trying
they're
to
trying
gather
to gather
themselves.
themselves.
And
And
men,
men,
there are
there
some
are
men
some
that do
men
the
that do the
same
same
thing.
thing.
They
They
just
just
stay to
stay to
themselves
themselves
or have
or have
maybe
maybe
one
one
buddy,
buddy,
maybe,
maybe,
but
but
they
they
keep that
keep that
distance
distance
away from
away from
women for the
women for the
most part.
most part.
And and
And
and the
and
women
the
do the
women do
same
the
thing
same
with the
thing with
men.
the
They
men. They
just
just
don't want to be
don't want to be
bothered for a
bothered for a
while
while
anyway.
anyway.
And
And
sometimes those
sometimes those
whiles
whiles
for a
for a
while can
while
be
can
for
be for
years.
years.
So
So
they come
they come
home,
home,
in their own space so they can have peace. This is after being wounded now because they're hurt. So when they come home and they get into habit every day, they go to work, hit the gym. Some of us, like myself, do yard work. That's my peace place, something that gives me comfort, and I'm in my own world when I'm out there. It's peaceful. Now, I'm not saying that to say that I have been wounded recently per se, but I have developed over the years since my boys have been grown and gone. I just get out there in the yard. Now, I have other activities that I participate in the society out here, community work and that kind of stuff. But my most important savior outside of Christ is going out there in that yard. Every person have their own saving place. Some guys just want to go shoot pool. Some guys just want to go fishing. That's their saving place. There's nothing wrong with that. They go out there and they're in their own world. Why? Because it's peaceful. They tired of the chaos. They tired of the hoopla. And it's just, just want to get away. It could be work related. Want to get away, take a long vacation away from the job. People have a tendency to cause us to just not be bothered at times. And sometimes it can get so deep until we just want to go off. Just want to, instead of being physical about it, wanting to fight somebody and hurt somebody. Some of us rather just walk away and just stay away for a while. Gather our mental status so that we can think. So that woundedness is very serious. And to me, having peace about it makes life so much more tolerable because we have to live with people. We can't just not be around them ever again. We might stay away from them, go in the woods, go into the wood cabin and just stay out there and go to the store and come get what you want, come on back to your wood cabin. Only see a person when they're in the store and you buying what you need. Comments, Coach?
Well, I think the being wounded is certainly a legitimate excuse. Even when people notice they know you're wounded, they're pretty much saying you can't cash in on that every time we have a situation. So in living single, let's take it that one aspect. You can't use your trauma every time you want to explain yourself. It gets old to people that are listening, and they're pretty much telling you to shut up. If you know about talking to someone and you're talking in your head at the same time, then that's what they're doing to most of us. Here we go again. He gonna talk about what happened. She gonna mention the whole story. Somebody better interrupt her because she gonna say everything that mama and daddy did. He gonna talk about everything that his ex did. Or he or she gonna talk about everything that was done to her and how she was emotionally abused. And so you keep singing that song, whether you've gotten help for it or you have not. You cannot, we cannot let others bear that punishment over and over and over again. It's not fair. So I was listening to you talk about the wounded things, the traumatic events that have happened in our lives, that have changed our life, that changed our trajectory, they've changed the way we hear things. So if we're listening through our trauma, we don't hear the same thing. I heard a saying the other day, one man's trash is another man's treasure. You heard that part? Then this guy added a part that I'd never heard before. He said, I'm going to say it all together. One man's trash is another man's treasure. One man's pain is another man's pleasure. Okay? You hear that? And that is so true. I'm sitting there looking at you like, yeah, you the fool that married her. I told you not to marry him. I told you, I gave you my advice, and you did it anyway. Now look at you. Now these are things that people are saying in their head about you. They're not gonna come out there and tell you that's just tough love. But they saying, "Will you shut up, whining all the time? You're the problem." They're saying things to you when they see your car. Now I'm gonna just talk like your mind talk, like you know I'm the person on your shoulder that you don't want to tell you the truth. But yes, they are talking about us every time we get on the bandwagon, every time we get on the soapbox. Would you be quiet, you idiot? When they see a car that looks like yours, they don't even like that car anymore. Now, I'm talking like Pastor Colby said, I'm talking better than y'all responding out there. But when you see a car that a person used to drive, or something that reminds you of that person that is always negative Nancy or gloom and doom, they have ruined that car in your mind. I don't never want to see another car like that again. Cause so and so drive a car like that, and every time I see that thing pull up in my driveway, it give me the heebie-jeebies. So they are talking about us as we creep around in our hurt,
Woundedness.
woundedness.
Yeah.
Your family don't want you to sit next to them. I'm gonna stop in a minute. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna shut up because I'm talking about me too. They don't want to hear you talking about how it used to be, but now it ain't. So, for us people in this group that's recognizing woundedness, there are some, rules. Let our discussion and our pain stay in this conversation. This is your pow wow session. I'm not going to say therapy, but while you're listening on the radio or watching on the TV, this is your time for us to pick on you because we're picking on ourselves too. But I'm going to go back to the word. So a man thinketh, that is who you are.
Yeah,
You keep
as a-
stinking thinking. You keep stinking thinking, you'll be stinking. That's original right there from Coach Garrison. And so when
yeah.
you go around people, it's gonna be just like you ain't putting no deodorant on, but they don't want to tell you you're smelling.
Because that's not in the Bible, stinking all that.
Oh, I bet you I can find it in there. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, valid comments, yeah. But I want to step back a minute because I over got ahead of myself. I said I was going to have the opportunity for you to address last time's conversation on how to love from getting wounded.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I want to, and you had something you said, oh, we got to go back to that. We got to talk about that. So I don't know if you're ready to start with that or you want me to read what I had last time to refresh your memory.
Yeah, go ahead. Read it. I'm
Okay,
with you.
women know how to love, but not who. Men who Men know who to love, but not how. Just the opposite. You see, a woman will put everything she has into a man who hasn't even deserved it yet. She'll see his potential. She'll love him through the version of himself who he hasn't even built yet, haven't built himself yet. She stayed too long. She'll give too much. She'll forgive what she shouldn't. I think that's what we women do. Because women were taught how to love without conditions and not taught how to choose without emotion. And by the time she realizes that the man wasn't worth the woman she had to become to hold him down, All the years have already gone. Meanwhile, a man could pick a woman from across the corner within seconds. He knows, trust me, he knows. He always knows. He sees her loyalty, her standards, her peace, her patience, and he picks her without any hesitation. The problem is he doesn't know what to do with her once he has her. He wasn't taught how to show love, how to communicate, how to stay long enough to actually let her in. He protects himself by withholding the very small thing that would have eventually kept her the whole time. He picks her right, but loves wrong. She loves right, but picks wrong. And the both of them spent a lifetime hurt by something that was never the lack of love, it was the lack of training. No one ever told them. You see, most relationships don't fall apart because the love wasn't there. They fell apart because nobody taught either one of them what to do once they showed up for each other, once the person showed up. And I said, that is interesting. Now, I don't know if you needed to hear the other part of that I read, which was part of woundedness, is raising a boy into manhood.
Let me jump in again. This is part two of the same thing I've said before, and maybe I need to hear this again. A practical blueprint, but I'm going to say it in a different way. A practical blueprint of the elements of love in the scripture. We'll just jab around with this a little bit. It's all in 1 Corinthians 13. Patience and kindness, acting with grace rather than in frustration, humility and selflessness, not being boastful, proud, insulting on your own way, forgiveness, keeping a record of wrong and not holding grudges, endurance, always practicing, protecting, trusting, and persevering. What we're doing is a shadow of the world. We're not doing love the biblical way. We're far away of this sacrificial love, this never ending unconditional love for each other. We're trying to monetize our unions by seeing what I'm worth and I'm seeing what you're worth and you're seeing what I can do for you. You're seeing how much of a provider I could be for you and how I can make you happy. Now, if anybody want to battle with me on that, of what the social construct of marriage and the union is, then come on. There are few and far between serious lovers out here that demonstrate their love. And I guess they're choosing to be silent in a lot of situations. But I know a few couples in my life. But holistically, the things we see more hours in a day in social media, television, radio, our lifestyle at work, in which we spend more time at work with other people who we don't even are not really concerned about their beliefs other than trying to get a check working on somebody's team. Those things influence our lives so much that it's dictating how the marriage works. Your marriage won't feel good unless you got a big house. And you're saying, no, I ain't like that. Let me take that house away from you and put you in a 2-bedroom mobile home. See if you're going to love your life there. You're going to love your wife or you're going to love your children, whether you got 1 car or 3 cars. You said, God didn't mean that for it to happen. You're right, because you couldn't take it. Most of us can't take it. So, and love has nothing to do with those elements of society that we deem so much important. So it's us against the church, if you ask me. I can't say the church is losing at all, because I believe that the intercessors that are praying that we're the only way to go get into heaven is because of them intercessors that meet on Thursday night, that nobody wants to go to those intercessory prayers. I think they might get us in. I'm praying they might get me in there. But my thing is, if you believe in the word of God, or you believe in that Bible, and you're loving it you're loving that person according to that word, then you got a hidden jewel. And if your wife is listening to you, if you're leading your family, you got something going on that a lot of people don't have going on.
Okay, now
You're not
remember,
addicted to life and beaches and vacations and salaries. You're basically trying to maintain an insurance for your family to take care of your health so you can love without pain. If you're hungry right now and you're listening to this, it's hard to love somebody when you're hungry. So
remember,
yeah, your wife gonna be cutting up because she hungry. Now she might have the desires of the world, but if her belly ain't full, she hungry. Yes, ma'am.
remember, we're talking about singleness, not marriages.
Yeah, we are definitely talking about singleness. So when you're talking about being single,
Being single, not
yes,
getting. You're
right,
already
and
single.
those, I guess the track is to get into a relationship, to get married. That's the
Okay.
goal, to find your life partner.
Okay.
But we're not practicing. I talk to very few people that, to me, they understand what love is. So being single right now, I heard that term years ago. You got to wait till the Lord send you somebody. Well, you know what? I was married and I was listening to those folks. I'm like, well, the Lord done sent me somebody, so I'm good. But now I know what it means. I don't see nobody that's really talking about love. I see people, as a single person, that want you to fill out an application for them to see if they gonna love you. Yeah, I see that. To see if you
I
got
believe
what it takes to be their man. I see that all day long. But I don't see nobody talking about the real spiritual contracts of, I really want to give myself away to somebody and I just want to fall into their life and love them unconditionally. I'm afraid, but I really want to take that chance again. If you're over 40, okay, there your finger again. Go ahead. Talk it up. Let's
I
chop it
think
up.
I think that you can't hear me because you have your
The
ear.
earphones on?
Oh,
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear. I hear you better than the earphones.
okay. So I was talking earlier without my hand being up, and I don't think you heard me because you kept right on talking.
Yeah, you might have said something. I was in that zone.
Yeah. But what you just said about you haven't heard anyone, you haven't met anyone, haven't been around anyone that actually say the biblical thing about, you know what, I would really like to find someone to be married, to spend the rest of my life with. Now you're saying you haven't heard anyone else say that. Okay. Have you said it?
All the time. Because what happens is, here's how you say it. You just start sharing who you are and see how people are interested. And if you have a need for a companion and they have a need for a companion, they ought to pick up on that. And the selflessness that Corinthians was talking about is them, even when you're married, the folks that see you in your singleness saying, oh, okay, I understand what his need is. I can't feel all of them, but hey, I'm available. I'm available. I'm gonna, I don't know if I can feel it or not, but I'm available. You see, it's gonna take that same kind of stupid courage that you had when you got married the first time. You didn't know nothing. We didn't know nothing when you got married first. You didn't know nothing about life. But you call foolish love. You just in love and lust and everything. And you dive in.
Okay, true. But I want to let the audience understand what you're saying clearly about
Yeah.
there are ways, what you're saying is there are different ways to express one's interest of
Yeah.
that special person without coming right out saying, like we said a few minutes ago, I really would like to find that special person and blah, blah, blah. Without saying it verbatim, you're saying that there are different ways to show that you are interested
Yeah.
and looking for that person.
The
And
last
you
person.
also said, and they should understand, they should be able to see what's being said or what's being done. They ought to be able to get that. Everybody don't catch on like that.
What I'm saying
Try
is,
to connect the dots.
I don't see nobody studying the word then, because it just says sacrificial love. I guess you're not studying the definition of what love is then. Because the last thing I got, the last compliment I got, and I'm just going to be real. The last compliment I got was about 3 days ago. Somebody brought me a message that I met a particular person, and they sent a message through them to me that, hey, he can call me because I like him tall.
And how did
That
you
was a
take
message.
that?
That was, that was cool. That was, sort of a flirtatious message. But it didn't say nothing about he was a, nice guy, great conversation that we had. I really like to talk to him again. But I understand both of those are correct. Both of those are okay, because I got the message that, hey, I like him tall. Tell him he can call me. I get that one too. So I'm not, guys, I got common sense, okay? I get those two. Yes, I was flattered, okay? So don't think that I wasn't.
But I'm trying to understand when I said, how did you take that compared to what you just said scripturally?
Yeah.
How did that affect you in whether or not you wanted to pursue that comment biblically?
It was okay. It just wasn't, it just had no depth to it.
Yeah.
They invited me to have a situationship. I can't do them. I've done a couple of them and I can't do it no more. Just a friendship with some benefits, great. You can cook, this, that, no. I can't handle that right now.
Okay. Biblically speaking,
Yeah.
you were talking about how one would respond as a single individual, because I want to focus on singleness. That's what we're talking about.
That's right.
There are times in a single person's life when they hear such as that,
Yeah.
they don't respond the way you did.
What do you mean?
They actually look into, who is this that's interested in me being so tall?
Yeah.
Who is this that wants me to reach out to them? Let me see what's going on. She had already put herself out there in an indirect way, enough to get your attention. As a single individual, if they are interested in being with anybody, then I would say the least that could have been done, not you, but anybody, it could have been anybody, it could have been me, whoever it is. At least find out who the individual is and see what they're all about.
I already met them.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we had met. I had already met them, and we had a professional meeting, and so it was a whole lot going on. We talked for over an hour.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So this living singleness, folks, is something to be desired. It's a lifestyle that I think you have to acquire, like some foods. You have to acquire a taste for eating crabs every day, or eating vegetables all the time. Acquire a taste for certain things as a single individual. And if you don't have a taste for it, sometimes you want, the old cliche used to be, sometimes I feel like a nut and sometimes I don't. Sometimes I feel like talking to somebody and sometimes I don't. As single people, we're in a position, if we've been in it long enough, where we would have that attitude. Sometimes I feel like talking to somebody and sometimes I don't. Sometimes they send a quick note or a message through somebody, Sometimes I want to talk to him and find out who it is, and sometimes I don't. So that single person have to decide at some point whether or not they want to remain single the rest of their lives or not. It's in their hands. And speaking scripturally is something that could be prayed about, because if we use our own mind and our own carnalness, we're going to hop on whatever. But if we want to follow the scripture and please the Lord in our walk, in our decisions, then it's a slower pace. But realize, single person, that you know, it depends on you. You want to wait 10 years, or you want to wait 5 years, or you want to wait 5, 6 months.
Okay, here let me jump in, because I think I'm gonna say, like, you use me. You talk to me. Oh boy,
I don't say that.
yeah. Well, I don't think you're getting it. I think you're getting it, but I'm gonna just rewrite straight what I have here on this search result.
Okay.
All right, and I'm gonna just use the same ones that the famous love chapter. Apostle Paul defines exactly what this love looks like in practice, focusing on actions and character. So if you're trying to learn something, or if I'm trying to learn something about you, then you will show me some of this character. No, I said some, because I'm not perfect. Neither are you, nor is anybody else. Patience and kindness, acting on grace rather than frustration. If all the time when we talk and we spend our time together as friends, you're complaining, every story you got, you talking about somebody. Every story you got, it's most of them are negative. It's like you're reading the newspaper. And mind you, they're legitimate subjects to talk about. The president, the food you just ate, the time your kids come home late, or okay. But we're acting with grace. Where are you showing me that you have grace for me? If I did some of those things, mind you, if you're single and I'm single and you come together with a friendship or a family member, I'm going to start talking about marriage. I'm talking about if we're going to associate together. How you going to act when I do something wrong? Is it you going to go talk about me like you talking about this other person? Is that what you're going to do? But when you going to show me that you're kind? It just in human life. When are you going to show me you have patience? If everything we do, or everything we do, even as friends, I'm not talking about to get to become lovers or anything. When are you going to show me that? And you are showing yourself. I'm showing myself every day through my actions. Humility and selflessness. Where are you demonstrating that? In some conversation that we have, I would hope you show some humility. And if you're boastful, I hope you balance some of that out with, yeah, I'm proud of myself, but I don't like telling everybody what I do and what I've accomplished, because that's when they get jealous. And, when are you going to show your selflessness or your forgiveness or your endurance, always protecting, trusting, and preserving, when you're telling me I'm cutting them off? If they didn't cross me, you cutting everybody out of your life because you telling me you cutting them off.
I hope these folks don't think that you're talking about me per se.
I'm not talking about you at all. I'm just saying, if you are single and you're entertaining somebody, let me finish this statement. If you are single and you're entertaining somebody in your life, if you're not showing some of these characters to them, that you have humility, that you are selfless at times, yeah, well, I went ahead and let it go because, I can't win every battle and I can't persecute everybody that do me wrong. So I just took that one on the chin. You got to take something on the chin. You got to show me that you can take something from me if you're interested in me. So I'm not your preacher. I'm not your teacher. But if you're not seeing some of these things and you're always talking about materialistic goals and what you want to achieve, that's you're showing me who you are. You're showing me who you are. And when something goes wrong, I really get to know, because I don't see no greater love than a man has, that he lay down his life for a friend. So that even as friends, we got to go through some serious stuff together, and before we really say we are friends. Now we can say we're associates, we can be friends on Facebook, but where are you demonstrating yourself to that man that you're interested in, to that woman that you're interested in, as how your character gonna be like? Because your situations coming forward in the future are unpredictable. Soon as you put the ring on her finger, things change sometime in 6 months. How are you showing her your character that you will be able to handle that? Because you don't know what they're going to be. You might lose your job in 6 weeks. She gone. But you better love her rather than her body. So how are you going to demonstrate all of that? That's the part I was trying to show you, that I don't see people talking about with me. When are we going to talk about those subjects? Now, I do bring them up at times about the mental health of black men. At some point we got to get serious. I'm crazy because my granddaddy was crazy, because he crazy because his daddy was crazy. So we inherit certain things. Go ahead.
I think that, and everything that you said, and I'm not knocking any of it, but as it is with most of us, when we have a conversation with others, whether it's one person or a group, we're really talking from our own gut, our own experiences, our own exposure, and what we're looking for in that next person. Especially when you have become of age. Unlike we were when we first got married, like you said earlier, we were teenagers, we were still green behind the ears, wet behind the ears, didn't know jack for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't have any experiences to compare to. So we went into it blindly. We all do that. There's no way you can know much of anything when you're only 18, 19 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Just getting out of high school, all you know is books and learning and stuff. You haven't exposed to life.
And I think it takes the same faith, the leap of faith, to get married when you do know a lot of stuff. Because just because you know a lot of stuff, that don't mean it's going to jive with that other person.
Exactly right.
Does not. That means it's going to still take, and it will definitely take, the forgiveness, the kindness, the fruit of the spirit, to live with somebody. I say time is a factor, but to live with somebody, you will definitely have to have the fruit of the spirit to be able to be loved, to show love, joy, peace. You got to live that way, because stuff going to come at you.
Yes.
It is difficult, especially if you've been single for a while.
Yes.
And you're going to give your life up to somebody. Well, that's something we need to talk about. Now, if you're going to be sly and just let that man go ahead and just come on into your life, and you looking at all the things he do, he stay out all night long right now. He go with his friends anytime he get ready. You might want to ask him if he ready, because you a clingy person. You love hard, and you want somebody around you to validate you every day. You might want to, check that to see if he ready for that closeness that you really want and need. And he probably should be ready for it too. Because if you're going to be a one and life partners, then you're going to have to give up some stuff, because you have a new body part. You got a new rib that's attached to you. Right. And a man need to be ready for that. That's been out here running the street. Even if he ain't running the street, he ain't had to go home at 6 o'clock every day to get something to eat that you so, dedicated and you cook for him.
Right.
So I'm just saying, when are these conversations supposed to come up about how you going to live? You better talk about it. So singleness, And not to mention the woundedness. Yeah, we had a conversation about that, about a man opening up to a woman and telling her his wounds and his vulnerability. And I say you should never use that against him. Oh, I
Right.
can test somebody real quick. The first disagreement I've had, and I have with certain people I think that might be interested, I'll say something and see if it come back up. But not that I didn't tell you something about me that's a weakness for you not to pay attention to it. The key is, are you going to weaponize it?
Use it against you.
Yes, that's what. Well, you know this, you know you did this, and you know. Okay, I got you. You won't know nothing else. Yep, you won't know nothing else. And then you know how we was told growing up, just shut up. I don't want to hear it. Just get over it. It ain't that bad. Stop crying. Wipe them tears out your eyes. Act like you supposed to act while you're in the store. See, that goes back to all the times we was told to shut up. And now you're gonna push that man right back into those days that a lot of us grew up in.
And I can dare say that that type of behavior and lack of interaction can cause a lot of distance between the two people. Because once one pick up on certain things, then it could be either way. The woman could be picking up on things, or the man could be picking up on things, like you just described, and it causes distance where they are not together as much. Apparently, something must have flared up. I don't know. There's different reasons, but I'm saying that's one indication of showing that something is not going well because of the lack of sharing space.
Well, you know what? I get the same feeling, and you want practical response here. When my mama I used to wake up getting a whooping. Why you peeing that bed for? Get your lazy hind part up. You too lazy to get up and go to the bathroom. Blah blah blah. I get that same feeling, or had that same feeling, when a woman is saying something to me. Well, why you do that for? Or why? You think that I just want to lay there and pee in the bed? There's something going on traumatic in my life that's throwing me off, and that obviously my biological clock didn't wake me up because I'm so distracted about probably this dysfunctional family that I'm living in that it messes up psychologically, that make you where you don't go to the bathroom, you don't get up, you just pee on the bed. But to get whooped for it was not the answer, because if I was awake, I would have got my butt up and went to the bathroom. So I couldn't figure that out to save my life. Now I grew out of peeing in the bed, but then you obviously,
I hope
some
you
men
did.
out there are married and their wives are asking them the same. Why you always doing this? Why you always doing that? Heck, I don't know. Why you always doing what you're doing? Why
Okay.
you already responding to an issue with a 5-alarm fire with five fire trucks, 3 ambulances, and the police off of something that we both don't know why it's happening? Both of y'all, him and her, need to pump the brakes and really find out what's going on. And that stuff will last for years.
I think that a lot of that can be said, but said in a more calm and loving tone. Tone means a lot. I can say, "Hey, babe, where you been? You've been gone for a couple, 2, 3 hours. I thought you was gonna be back in about 30 minutes." It's the way you say something makes to me. It makes a world of difference in the tone that's being used and the words that you use, how you say what you say.
Now you probably you get kudos for that, because if you talk to a woman and she come out her mouth with a tone of
Loud
voice that's
and
in a certain way, and you say, "Well, it was the way you said it." How do I say it? You can't. If it's true, it don't matter how I say it. I just said it.
right.
So there you go. Now you can argue. Go look in the mirror and just say what you just said, and say it is the tone that can set things off.
Yeah.
For single people that's wounded, the tone is what sets it off. And there ain't no way to convince you that the man, when his voice changed, or the woman with her voice change, ain't no way to convince them that that was their tone that they used that set it off, because they're going to say the facts outweigh the tone. Now, I'm going to say this. The tone is a means of communication. You're going to use that in defense if I'm trying to hold you accountable and you're trying to save yourself. See, you're raising your voice. You're so and so and so. So it's going to be a mixed bag. It's going to be a mixed bag. Right now, I can see two people arguing, and I tell both of them to sit down and be quiet, because you ain't even talking to each other right. Like, it's going to lead. You might well sit there and get Google eyes at each other, because the way y'all trying to resolve that issue is not working, because you ain't in the right tone. You're in a courtroom where you're battling. You got attorneys. Get the attorneys out of the room and go to mediation.
But remember now, living single and being wounded, it makes a difference in how we respond to life's issues anyway, with anyone.
Come on, with anybody.
That's right. And so what happens in that is where this fruit of the Spirit called patience comes into play. That individual need to learn how to be patient with that person, because no one is at the same level.
And I'll be patient, and I won't call your hind part in 2 or 3 days or a week, and then you're going to call and say, why you ain't called? Because I'm being patient, that God will speak to both of us. But the first thing out of some people's mouth is, you don't like me no more. You don't, man, come on, y'all. It's 5 minutes left. I'm going to let you have over 5 minutes.
Wow. Well, gee, thank you so very much. You're so kind. Thank you. Now, folks, it's my turn. We all have areas of our lives that we need to work on. Okay. We cannot work on those areas by ourselves. If you have found, as a single person, as being wounded, if you have found someone that have a possible chance of being in your life, that have gotten your attention, at least halfway of your attention, and you want to spend some time with that individual, it is nothing wrong with pursuing him or her carefully for yourself as well as the person you're interested in. And I say for yourself because I think all of us have been wounded one way or another. So you're going in as a man or woman that's seeking a partner. You want to be as kind as you possibly can, but keeping in mind that woundedness, ever how deep it was or how recent it has been, it could have been years ago, and you still carrying that wound. You want to be very careful how you carry your thoughts and your actions as time go on. And that's why I said earlier, time to me, TIME, is very, very important as you develop a relationship with anybody. Because I was always told Rome wasn't built in a day, and anything that comes easy is not worth keeping. So I would say be careful in how you respond to him or her. And like Coach said earlier, some people come to you with baggage, and they're talking about somebody or something every time you're with them. I would encourage all of us. I try not to do that, but it might be some areas that I bring up more than one time. Everybody's personality is different. Maybe it's something that you just want to be able to talk to somebody about, but eventually it's time to drop that, like Coach said earlier, and let it go, because you don't want an individual, as soon as they see you, oh, here we go, and I wonder what's going on with her today, or what happened to him today. You don't want them to have that if you're trying to gain their interest, that is. At any rate, I have run out of time. Did not get to everything that I wanted to talk about, but that's okay. The information that was shared was very important. I enjoyed listening, and I hope all of you out there have enjoyed as well. We do want to continue with this woundedness, living single, because a lot of people are in that position of being single. However way you're single, you could be a divorcee, you could be a widow or widower, or you could be someone that never been married. It's still single, and you're still here. So, Father God, I want to thank you for this time. Once again, as always, it's a pleasure to share our thoughts and our ideas, and hopefully with your help, Lord, that we'll be able to touch somebody out there that have some questions, that really want to know how we get through certain things. So I thank you again for all of that. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a broadcast of Awesome Radio Network, 1570 AM, 107.5 on your FM dial, and also on social media. Like, share, and subscribe. GPAT23, WECU, Facebook, and YouTube. Hey, we're out here. We love you to life. Thank you so much for joining us. And if I said anything to offend anyone, well, I would rather apologize face to face. Just come see me. I'll do it through the email or whatever the case may be. We all are emotional when we get into subjects like this, and we're wounded to a degree. All right, stay tuned to the station. Some great love, music, and perhaps more talk shows coming your way.
Awesome radio. Yes, awesome. Awesome. Can you hear it? Awesome. Awesome.
It's early morning.
You're going to hang up now?